Hey YouTube, what's up? Happy Memorial Day weekend. I am in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it is not real nice out today. So we're hoping that the weather will break and give us some warm weather soon, or at least for some part of this weekend, because we desperately need the water. So I'm here for the. That's not good. I am here for the Saturday wrap up, things we sold on Etsy, eBay, Facebook Marketplace. So let's get into that. So let's begin with Etsy, since that's usually the more active one, honestly. So I believe I did the video late last time. I actually ended up doing it on Sunday, I think it was Sunday. And so I wanted to kind of get this done today. So forgive me if I mention one that I already sold, because I know I had several orders come in on Sunday before I did the video, but I can't remember. There was one that I think came in after. Anyways, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So it was a quieter week. I feel like the third week of the month is generally quieter than the beginning into the second week, and then towards the end, which I don't know, people get paid at different times, but that seems to be the trend. And of course there's Memorial Day weekend, and then there's graduations and things like that, so that all plays a part in how busy it gets or is. Because, if your kid's graduating, college or high school, then obviously that's going to take precedence. I thought maybe we'd have some more Father's Day, purchases, but if there are, they haven't said that's what they were for. So I'm not sure. The only time I know is if they mention it or say that it's going to be like a gift. Let's see what's up. So I'm going to go backwards. So last night we sold a vintage bolo tie. It has, it looks like kind of a Spartan medallion bronze kind of situation. And that went to Texas. And again, that was one of those pieces in the jewelry bundle that I got when I first started this in an auction, and it's kind of been sitting, and I listed it for like $20 to begin, because I had no idea what the hell I was doing, quite honestly. There's a big learning curve for jewelry. Hell, I don't know, maybe there's a big learning curve for everything, but jewelry for me particularly is something I'm just not, a big person that wears a lot of jewelry, so I don't know. So anyways, I started that, and it sat for 3 years now, going into the 4th year, so a long time. And I got to a point where I put it down to $10, and it'd sit there, and I'd renew it, and I'd get irritated and make it go back up to 15 and then change it, and I finally just put it at 12 and left it at 12, and that's what it sold for. It didn't have a shop coupon or anything like that, so all good. So maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's a Father's Day gift. Anyways, bolo tie. Next, this is a consignment piece that I'm selling for one of my gym friends. It was his wife's aunt's dinnerware, and had been sitting in his attic for years, or their attic for years, and he asked if I'd be interested, and I told him, I said, well, I can do it. I said, I don't mind, but just understand that china, porcelain, things like that take forever to move. Even if they're gorgeous and an antique, which these were. Haviland Limoges Belfort dessert plate. And we sold one of those, and I've got them listed for $11, so whatever Etsy takes out is what we'll earn from that. Remember, it's 10% with Etsy. And buyer always pays shipping. I always have buyer pay shipping, unless it's like a special instance. It just depends. We used to do free shipping on everything over $35 because Etsy recommends it, highly recommends it, which we don't want to use the word extortion. No, I'm kidding. It's not as bad as that, but a lot of people are scared that if they don't offer the free shipping on items over $35, then their listings are going to be buried and customers won't be able to find them. So when we first started, I offered free shipping. I offered free shipping up until this past January. Well, I changed it. I did free shipping for anything over 35 for a couple years, and then I changed it probably about a year ago, I think, something like that, to where if it was over $100, you got free shipping. And then finally this past January, I decided we weren't going to do free shipping because the cost of shipping is just getting to be absolutely ridiculous. And if you want it enough, you'll buy it. And that's really the only thing I can do because, I'll buy things that I really, really want, and I'll suck it up and pay shipping. I don't like to, and I know that Amazon Prime and Walmart Plus and all this other, it's made it difficult. And honestly, I don't know how people make any money if they're doing free shipping on items $5, $10, $15. Like, how are you making money? I'm obviously not smart enough to figure that out, but it's also just time. Like, again, boxes, packing supplies, because I don't just throw it in a box and say, may the odds be ever in your favor. So we pack it how we want to receive things, and that's just the bottom line. So free shipping, maybe y'all know something I don't know, because even with the discount from Etsy or Shipping Pirate or whatever you use, it's still a lot. So anyhow, tangent. Next, $11 sold that plate, and that went to Florida. We have a ton of the things left. It was a dessert plate, which is 7.5 inches in diameter. All right, so next up we have an antique German chocolate pot with 5 cups. And I priced that thing so low because it had the picture had multiple issues. The 5 cups, only one of them had a chip. But the chocolate pot itself, like the handle on the lid, someone had broken it and then poorly, but good effort, molded like a handle, but it's not pretty. And if you're looking at it from a distance, you might not notice it, but if you're looking at it and you're right up on it, you're going to see it. And then on the interior of the pot, it had multiple chips. So I priced the pot and the 5 cups for $20. These things they're beautiful, which is a shame. And this was purchased by a repeat buyer, and she used her thank you coupon. So didn't make a whole lot of money off of this thing, but it's something I got in a lot when I was purchasing or interested in purchasing something else, and it just came with it. So I'm glad that it sold. Didn't make barely any money on it. I think maybe $8, if that. So thank you. And that went to Pennsylvania. Then we have some hankies, whatever, however you call them, from the 1940s and the 1950s. This is another one of those things that I got a giant lot of. And oh my God, did I regret that when I got it. There was probably over 200 handkerchiefs. And let me tell you how tedious it is to carefully wash them, hand wash them, dry them, iron them, then take pictures of them. And there's not a lot of information online that I could find for some of these things. So I wasn't sure what to do. I listed some singles for like $18, $20. They, of course, did not move. And then I decided that I was going to retake all the pictures, rewash them, reinspect them, re-iron them. I hate ironing. If there's a chore I hate doing, it's ironing anything. Hate it. so much. I know some people like it, but I am not one of those people. So I decided when I had them all back here and I was looking at all of them that I was going to sell them in sets, because there were some that were very similar. So I'm like, all right, I'll bundle these up and sell them in sets of 3 or 4 or whatever makes sense for that particular group. So I sold a set of 3 1940s floral handkerchiefs with daisies, roses, and irises. And those went to Florida. Remember I was talking about how Etsy seems to have like patterns in the algorithms, like all of a sudden we'll get a bunch of sales from like Florida or Pennsylvania or California. So this was one of them, because this went to Florida as well. And I have these listed for $16, and they didn't have a coupon, so it sold, and we made some money on that. And I still have a ton of hankies left. So if you are a handkerchief person, go take a look. And I still have some I haven't had a chance to list, so we're getting there. Little bit by little bit, we'll get there. Next up, we have a hand-carved back scratcher with a hand. It's the shape of a hand, 18 inches, made out of rosewood. And this is another piece that I have had for a while, and finally just said, you know what, I'll just take the chance. List it, see if anyone wants to buy it. And it wasn't even listed that long, and it did sell. I had it priced for $16, and they didn't have any coupons, so that's exactly what they paid, and that went out to Richmond, Virginia. Then we had a vintage, what is this thing? A vintage Peacock 22 air pot drink dispenser. And I believe it was from like the 70s. Had the 70s colors, like the browns and stuff. And it was actually really cool, because it had this insert on the bottom and it spun freely, like super easy. Worked great. So I wasn't sure. Again, sometimes I'm never sure about what's going to sell, but then I'm always surprised when someone buys these things. So that's the moral of the story. If you have any takeaway from this and you're doing reselling, don't assume that you know what's going to buy or sell, because people buy some things that I'm just shocked, but yay. Obviously, they needed it. So that went all the way to Moab, Utah. She paid, good God, she paid 3 times the shipping of what the actual cost was. So thankfully, I was able to get it into a box and send it FedEx. So I was able to refund her back the money, because she paid $65 in shipping alone. And the item was only $25. So, that got sent FedEx home delivery, and that was $32 for the shipping alone. So we ended up making, I refunded her back. We ended up making a fair amount of money on this thing that I never thought we were going to make any on. So it was, again, this was another part of an auction bundle. I didn't buy the lot for that specifically, but it came with it. So it's on out the door to someone, and they're very excited about it, which makes me happy. Then we had an order from someone locally for a display, an Asian wood pedestal display, and I had it listed, what did I have it listed for? I had it listed for $14, I believe, because there was some fading, and it's small, and she asked if I'd accept 12, and I'm like, sure, why not? So she got a little bit of a coupon on that. Let me see. Yeah, 14, got it for 12. So not too bad. Not a big. I had a bunch of them, and I didn't spend a whole lot on the lot, and I'd already made my money back from that lot, so it didn't hurt me to give that concession. Then another consignment piece went out to South Carolina, a vintage frog planter with green polka dots. So cute. There was some damages, some chips, cracks, or whatever, so it was priced accordingly, but still such a cute little item. And that, I had it listed for $18, and that's what it sold for. Then we had another Asian wooden display pedestal. It was the last one in that particular group. Had it listed for $15, and that's what it sold for. And that went to Texas. Then another return customer. Thank you so much. We so appreciate return customers, and you get a nice little coupon, a thank you coupon for being a return customer. And so he came back. He was the gentleman that bought the Indiana glass beehive amber vase thing. And he came back and bought a cherub, a resin cherub. I got this from an auction house that I'm never ordering again from, because I got some mirrors. This is another one that took like 2 pictures. Got some mirrors from them, and there were 2 wall hanging cherubs, and they basically threw it in the box and said, may the odds be in your favor. And one of the mirrors broke, and one of the cherub's hands cracked off. Sometimes I'll fix those things, but I was so pissed off, I was just like, I'm not even dealing with it. So I had the one cherub left, and he bought the cherub. And that went out to Tennessee. So, since he used his, well, he had a thank you coupon, and he didn't use that. He used a coupon where he favorited something. So, $18. He got that for $18, and it got shipped out, and nice dude. I hope he enjoys it. Next up, we had, the other week, I was talking about someone who bought this tablecloth and wanted it sent to California, and then messaged and said, oh, I need to cancel this because the shipping is too much. I'm like, dude, you have the ability to see the shipping before you buy it. Why did you do that? Hate canceling things. But anyways, it's sold. I still have one left. It was a Bombay Company nautical tablecloth. It's cotton, and it's dry clean only. So we did not wash that. I did the best I could with it. And that went to Florida. Let's see. It was listed for, it was only listed for $14 because, again, all those fabrics that I had, the tablecloths, all the linens, I just trying to get it out the door. I don't want to keep it for the rest of my life, which is what I felt was happening. So $14, it went to Florida, and she didn't have any coupons or anything like that. So then we had a oversized brass apple trinket dish. It was about 4.5 inches tall, 3.75 inches wide. She had a favorite coupon, so it was listed for $15, and it sold for $13.50. And that went to Oregon, of course. Next up, we had another return customer. So up in Pennsylvania, thank you so much. We had an Avon, a 1984 Avon Mother's Touch porcelain figure of a mother reading to her children. And I got burned on some Avon stuff before, so anytime it ends up coming into my possession, I'm just like, we'll see what happens. So, had it for a while, finally sold, hallelujah, and I had it listed for $16. They used the favorite coupon, and so it ended up being $14.40, and that went to Pennsylvania. Last one, and this is the one I'm not sure if I mentioned in the last video, but I think I did. It was another Asian display, wooden pedestal, a little 2-inch guy, and it went out to Las Vegas area and sold for $15. And the shipping cost, yeah, I think I did talk about it because the shipping cost almost as much as the darn item, $14.92. So expensive. Then that wraps it up for Etsy. So next up, we've got eBay. Super quiet week. Only had one order off of eBay, which sucks, but you know, it is what it is. And this was a Catherine's Collection White Rabbit Alice from the Alice in Wonderland collection. It was an ornament, and I had it listed for, what did I have it listed for? Some random number, I believe. $33. That doesn't make any dang sense. $33.44. I'm pretty sure I did not have it listed. Did I have it listed for $33.44? That's weird, because I don't ever list things for that. I don't know, must have had a thing at the time. So anyways, and this thing went out to California. They paid $13.79 for shipping. And it looks like after shipping and the eBay, blah, 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 selling fees, God, that was $7.20 in selling fees on eBay. And so we earned $28.36. Whatever. This was also purchased. This was in a lot of items that I picked up from a local auction house. So not horrible, but not super great either. Then Fayetteville. No. Facebook. Let's try that again. Facebook popped off and had quite a busy week with that. So I'm very happy about that, because most of the folks were local. I had one lady, I don't even remember if I mentioned this, I had one lady buy some King's Crown dessert cups, and she was going to meet up with me and then couldn't. So she asked if I would ship them. She lives probably about 40 minutes away from Raleigh, and I'm like, sure, I'll ship them. And she paid shipping costs. So something I wanted to move on out of here. It's my favorite. Okay. So, what did we sell here? Where's my inbox? Where's my inbox? Derp. Right there. Alrighty. Marketplace. So that sold for $25 plus the shipping. Went to Goldsboro. Glad to get them on out the door. Then we had 3 uranium glass dishes or plates. The Cameo is the name of the, I can't even talk now. Blew my concentration, dude. From the Cameo line of depression glass. Good Lord, let's get it out. We found that. This was also a consignment. We found that locally for someone we were trying to help out selling some of the things. And that is going 3 hours away from Raleigh. So appreciate it. We sold them because I didn't have to pay Etsy fees instead of $18 per plate. I let her have them for $15 each, and she paid shipping. Not bad. Then I had a gorgeous serograph of a sunrise that I got in an auction maybe a year and a half ago, and the frame was jacked up. They had put tape on the glass to keep it from breaking, but my God, trying to take the tape off without breaking anything, the frame was in such poor condition that it just like broke. And I tried to glue it back together, and I'm like, you know what, this is really heavy. It's a heavy frame, and there's a lot of glass, and to hell with that. So I 86 the frame and just took pictures of the serograph itself, and it's still 27 inches wide and 21 inches tall, so it wasn't going to be a cheap endeavor to mail it. But some lady saw it on Facebook and said, this is perfect, I love it, can I get it? And I'm like, yeah. She was going to pay shipping. to Greensboro, but apparently she's going to be in Raleigh. So I'm like, she's like, I will pay you right now for this. So she paid for the serigraph itself, which was $86. And she's just going to come pick it up tomorrow, which is cool. So she's super stoked about getting it. And I always love it when people are excited about the items that they're buying. Then I had a yellow rubber coated wire basket, like a farmhouse thing. It was kind of large. And I had it up online for $70. I have one in red too. And there's been a little bit of interest in it. But again, the shipping is just so astronomically expensive. And no one knows how to ask this question because I clearly state in the listing, especially for Etsy, it will default to USPS, which is about $100,000 basically to ship it. That's a little of an exaggeration, but whatever. So please ask us, and we're shipping it UPS or FedEx, and we'll refund the overages. So anyways, Facebook. She offered me $40, which pisses me off a little bit because it's like, dude, if something's listed for $70, have a little respect and ask if there's a better price. Don't come in at $40, $30 off the price. Nah, get out of here, man. But I'm trying to not be offended by that, even though I think she's going to resell it or something. So I'm like, I could do 50, but no lower. And she showed up and paid cash, and that was that. Out the door it went. Happy day. Still have the red one now. Then I had a, I think I already mentioned this. Maybe not. Because she just did pick it up this past Wednesday or something. Wednesday, Thursday, one of those days. A little glass lamp work. I was trying to find the word. Lamp work, fragile golf club bag on a caddy with 4 or 5 removable glass golf clubs. And she got that, and she was super excited because it was going to her dad for Father's Day. And the last thing sold today was an all-clad Belgian waffle maker. And that thing weighs 13.8 pounds. And I was not looking forward to shipping that. And thankfully, someone from up in Hillsboro saw it, said, yes, please, I'll be right there. And he paid $65 for it. And that wraps up a quieter week in sales, but still good. It's been productive, and I'm grateful for that. So any questions, let me know. Otherwise, you guys have a good and safe Memorial Day weekend, and I will catch you later.